Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Build Your Best Life. I am Coach Ricardo Miller, and I am joined with the lady herself, Coach Deborah. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I'm excited about these monthly fundraising opportunities that we're going to have to provide with your listeners, your viewers, your supporters, those individuals who have been blessed by your platform. I love your platform. And first and foremost, let me say thank you for allowing me to be a board member. And Build Your Best Life, listen, is a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. It's the real deal. And I love how you are building this platform. Let me ask you this question. What inspired you? What birthed Build Your Best Life?
Oh my goodness. What birth Build Your Best Life is that I just have this urging in my heart for young men. As I began to see young men seem to be struggling because they are so smart, they're tech savvy, and wanting to do everything, wanting to be a success, but it seems like they just kept hitting brick walls, or maybe they didn't know basic principles. There was just something missing, something they weren't being taught. And it seems like the school had dropped the ball, some parents had dropped the ball, and sometimes they would just run into things and then think, hey, I give up. So I just got this burning passion. I would love to assist young men. I have 3 adult sons, and I was a single mother as I raised one of them. And so I know it takes a lot. And, it's like 80% of the children that are raised in a single parent home are women, because 1 in 5 children under the age of 18 are actually raised by a single parent, and then 80% of those are moms. So I wanted to be there to assist our young men and show them that they can overcome obstacles and build their best lives.
So, so commendable. This is amazing. Let me ask you this question. Most people would say after you've raised your own boys, like you said, you started off being a single mom, And then, you know, you then had your boys and they're all growing up, and then they all became young adults, and they all went, and you guys became empty nesters.
Right.
A lot of people would say, man, I'm not going to give my time and effort to dealing with no kids. And you're not so much dealing with kids. You have a niche. You have a particular group that you're particularly interested in. Talk to us about that.
Well, I'm particularly interested in the teenage and young adult males. So in that 15 to 25-year-old range, because yes, my kids are adults. I'm retired from, you know, corporate America, but I still see the need. And not only young men have needs, young ladies do as well, but there are a lot of people out there helping our young women, and that's commendable. But I just have a passion for those young men because I know that they can be so much better. I work with a lot of athletes, and they're young when they get those contracts. And I'm like, hey, somebody needs to be on that front end to teach them some basic principles, financial literacy, a lot of things that apparently they don't get at home or in school anymore. So, you know, why not me? I have a passion for it. God's given me the gifts and talents, so I need to use it to help someone.
So good. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're talking with founder of Build Your Best Life, a nonprofit organization founded there in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and I'm a board member for Build Your Best Life. Now, we're picking Coach Deborah's brain and diving into some of why she started this incredible platform. And so, Coach Deborah, I want to talk about this. You are not only called to do this, you not only felt led to do this, you went and qualified yourself to do this. You went and got your coaching certification. You went back to school and got a degree. I mean, you're passionate about personal development yourself. There are people who are listening. They didn't know that. You took the time to get help. Talk to me about that process.
Well, something that my coach always says is that there's always someone who's assigned to assist you. And so one thing, I was glad that I heard this message that, hey, why not invest in myself? So I first started investing in myself, and I got a life coach, which showed me a lot of things that I didn't know enhance my skills, because, you know, a lot of our gifts and talents go away and they're in the cemetery because people sit on them. They don't know what to do with them. So having someone to assist me really helped me to birth that passion I had inside. And then I always want to do things decent and in order and for the right reason. You know, anybody can just go and do something, but I want to do it the right way. Right. I want to help people. I don't want to hurt them. So, you know, first I got my coaching certificate. I did that. But then I was like, you know, our young people, they are going through a lot, you know, not only the social things, but now this with COVID, a lot coming on the tail end of COVID, I think is when I began to see a lot of the mental health issues as well. Yeah. So I decided to go back to school, and I got my master's degree in human services counseling with a major in life coaching. So I got to, you know, do all of the work, the hands-on in all the fields, marriage, family, all of that. And it was very helpful. So that's what I want to do, because I want our young men to make a difference, because, you know, the better our young men are, the better fit they will be for the families that they will have in the future.
So good. So good. Let me ask you this. A lot of people see you showing up. A lot of people see you doing these lives. We'll talk a lot more about the different types of virtual services that you offer. But a lot of people don't know that there was a time where you basically had to take those baby steps and says, you know what, I'm going to start a live, then I'm going to do a live virtual conference and equipping sessions. And then now you've moved on to a couple of other things we'll talk about in a few minutes. Getting past yourself and your nervousness and the internal fights. Talk to our viewers a little bit about it, because a lot of times, people see you do what you do and they don't realize the work you had to do on the back end, even with self, to get to where you are, and where you are is to be commended. But we want to hear about the backstory of getting past the nervousness, if there was any. Help our viewers to understand where you were when you initially started this.
Most definitely, because I had never done anything on social media, had a Facebook account, but that was about it. So, wanted to get the message out. How do you get the message out? I was, instructed and told about, how you do that, what's the best way to do it, pay the money so I could get out on these streamings. And so I try a little bit, take me, I don't know, forever to get 10 minutes worth of information out there. And coach would say, well, are you doing it live? No. I'm recording it. So why are you recording it? Because I would start over like 10 or 20 times sometimes. Just, just got to do it. And he was like, you got to do it live.
Yeah.
So I take a deep breath, put on my big girl pants, and like, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Yes.
Okay, if I don't do it, I'm not using the gifts that God has given me, and I'm not helping anybody. Yeah. So I began, and I got out there, and now it's like, okay, all right. Yeah. So yes, am I nervous? Yes, I'm still nervous. So, even if you're shy, you're introvert, because I'm an introvert. Most people say, huh? Yeah, you can do it, because if it's your passion and you want to do it, whether you're sweating, whatever, you go ahead and do it, and then you finish. But it just gives you so much pleasure to know that if you only help one person, it's a blessing.
So good. You have been encouraging people with your services. I want to talk about something particular. Early on, you decided, I'm going to establish Build Your Best Life as a nonprofit organization, but you went ahead and you documented the process for how a young man could really turn things around for his life. You wrote a book. Talk to us about that book, and talk to us about, you've now been able to have that book distributed all over the place. We're going to talk to people about how they can get a copy, but talk to us about writing that book and literally providing content. Talk to us about a little bit about what's in it as well.
Okay, of course, another thing, write a book, but wanting to get that message out to different people. I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida. How could I do that? Okay, you can write the book. Go ahead, Coach Deborah, you can do it. Okay, so what I want to write the book about? Well, the same thing that I talk about. How young men can overcome obstacles and build their best lives. So I wrote the book. And what's in the book is about your life, your actions, and your credibility in overcoming obstacles and build your best life. So it's not just some words. It is really, what happens, because everything that you say, everything you do, those are your actions. Someone is listening to those actions, and each action has consequences. So, sometimes you do good things, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you follow your friends and you get in trouble. So I talk about all of that in the book, and I give examples. But on Build Your Best Life, and in this book, I have 5 building materials. And they are your associates. Who are you hanging out with? Who are you spending most of your time with? Then 2, self-discipline. You can't always depend on your parents, educators, and other people to tell you when, what, and how. You have to learn how to do it yourself. You have to be responsible for yourself. The 3rd one, you got to have some goals. You don't want to remain stagnant in life, so you got to know how to get where you want to go. How do you go on that journey? You got to write it down. And then, what are you thinking? You are what you think. So you got to have a positive mindset. And then that last one, I used to just say finances, but it's financial literacy. You can have $1 billion. If you don't know how to manage and handle that, you're not a good steward of it, it can go right down the drain. So all those things are important. So I talk about them in the book. I give examples. And I just think it's a great tool. There's a place in the back for you to write down your thoughts, those different types of goals in each of those building areas. And it is something that I have to say, I am proud of it, not to be, ego-centered or anything like that, but it's something that I would want my sons to read. I wish I had it back then.
So good. You've produced it, and it's being distributed all over the world, and people are now being able to be blessed by something that literally they can hold, and not only hold but pass down. Let's talk about the various events you have, I call it, mastered. You have gone through this whole process of establishing a series of different types of events within the calendar year. Talk to us about those different events and why.
Well, we have 4 major events. The first one is Mothers with Sons, because one thing that I have found out is, yes, my passion is young men, and I have a message for them. But again, young men. So how many young men, want someone to say, hey, come listen to me. I'm going to tell you how you can fix this, how you can be better. You need to do this. So along with helping those young men, what about those single moms, that 80%?
Yep.
They need encouraging. They need equipping, because a lot of things they don't know. So during that Mothers and Sons seminar, we bring in powerful women of God who have been there, done that, raised those sons, and they can lift and encourage our mothers. And it has been so powerful. This will be our 4th annual virtual seminar, and I'm just so excited. I just sat there and stayed on that one. But the second one is our fathers, men and boys.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, the same concept, but mothers, we do so much, we can do so much, but there's certain things that only a man can tell another man.
Yeah.
Let's just be frank.
Yeah.
And so that's what our men do. So we have that event. We have that every June as well. And with the 4th one.
Yeah.
Then in August, we have our educational symposium where we have educators from all over the world. Yeah. I just love it. I have made so many friends during this time, but they come in, and again, they're impacting a generation and generations to come with the information that they provide. And we give haircuts, we give out books, we visit schools. So it's not just messages, but we do other things as well. And then everybody loves this one. In November, we always do a grateful conference. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't have something to be grateful for? And it is always amazing. And I say those 4, but for the last 2 years, this will be my 3rd year. Oh my goodness. Mission trips.
Yeah.
A cruise. Can you imagine? My favorite vacation is cruising. I can cruise, 8-day, 10-day, not get off a ship. But I had the opportunity to do 2 days. We stopped at 4 ports, and 2 of those ports, Nassau and Freeport, I had the opportunity to visit schools, a detention center. And when I say life-changing, oh my goodness, I was able to give out books and talk to these kids, and they were so attentive and they were just soaking in the information. That was my best cruise ever. But it's just amazing. And I know I get too excited, but it's my passion. I love this. I just love it.
Good stuff. And it shows. And one of the things, being a board member, I've been able to be behind the scene and hear and have seen how you have gone through, high and low seasons. The weather, and you're like, hey, I got to produce my show. I got to make sure provide the service, because people are depending on this Build Your Best Life platform. In addition, you have 2 special things that you've been doing now on Saturdays. God inspired you to do them. They're one with some guys. They're one with some pearls. Talk to us about those. And a lot of our viewers right now, they are familiar with those because you have a good following base that's been following all of these services. Tell us a little bit about those two and why.
Well, I'll talk about the pearls first, but we were trying to think of a group of ladies that could be a big impact on our niche, which is young men.
Yeah.
And during the time, we were talking about, it was doing the presidential campaign. And
Okay.
so we had the Chucks, but we came up with Chucks for pearls and earls. So the mothers and our sons. And so there are 4 of us. There's Anastasia Smith from Nassau, Bahamas, Carol Crockett from Dallas, Anita Cummings from Thompson, Georgia, and myself here in Jacksonville. And every 4th Saturday, each quarter, we come up with a major theme, and it is always amazing. One of them, and I'll never forget, we did was, it was in June, and we did Color Him Father. And so we all talked about our significant male role model. So it was just magnificent. Now, I even got my bishop said something about this Sunday. He said, "Oh, I saw that men thing." But we have every second Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have conversation with the guys. Yeah. And I said earlier that there are some things that only men can tell other men. So we have men that come in from different walks of life. Coach Ricardo has been so instrumental in that. One of our other regulars is Dr. Coach Kevin Wilbon, Deacon Dan Smith, Elder Joseph Levette. He's in Jacksonville. Dan is in Jacksonville. And we most recently added, Derek Durden from Dallas. And he is younger than the rest of them. Yeah. And so he's bringing in another millennium, another generation. So it is amazing. But if you have not seen a segment, second Saturdays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And hey, my content never goes away. It's always on Facebook and YouTube. So you can always just go and search Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith. And you can see them. But they are amazing. And it is something that we knew that young men need, and then a lot of mothers need it because they don't have anyone that they can say, "Hey, bro, can you come in and talk to my son?" Or a neighbor, "Can you come talk to my son?" So now we have content every month that they can rely on.
So good. You said that you have this on Facebook and YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hear what she just mentioned because with the digital space, unlike VHS, how many of y'all remember those? How many of y'all remember CDs? How many of y'all remember DVDs? How many of y'all remember having to download, right? Well, now we have cloud. We have digital space that is, I would say, eternal because the internet has just literally started to tap into its possibilities. With that said, 25 years from now, 35 years from now, young people, families, parents will be like, let's go ahead and look back at the principles of Build Your Best Life. Let's look at the book. Let's go ahead and look at the content. And Coach Deborah, I think in years to come, you're going to look back. Deacon Dan is going to look back. All of your partners, all of your team members who have committed to showing up, and all of your guests from around the world will be able to say, you know what? There is digital content of me out there and what I believe literally forever. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the biggest, most impressive things about Build Your Best Life. The major part of its efforts is digital. And if you don't understand the power of digital, you need to go and do some research on where the digital space is. Digital is everything. Okay. If you notice, young people today, they got a tablet in their hand, they got a phone in their hand. You now, when you get a smart car, guess what they put in those car? A big screen. Guess what you can now watch in your car on a big screen is YouTube. Guess where those videos go? Everywhere. And so thank you so much for doing that. Now, let me ask you this. A lot of people see your platform. What they don't realize is a platform like this needs to be funded. I mentioned at the very beginning, it is a nonprofit organization. So when a person gives their donation, they get a letter that they can turn in during tax seasons, which we're about to approach, and they're able to be like, you know what, use that as a write-off and so forth. If you have a business and you say, you know what, I like this platform, it's different. And Coach Deborah is consistent. Oh my God. When I talk about, I've told more than 30 of my coaching clients, I said, you better watch Coach Deborah. Look at how chip. She keeps climbing, she keeps climbing, she keeps climbing. And you know what I like? I like the fact that she has found her lane. She's continuing to perfect the craft and the space that God has called her to be in. And I'm here today to tell you, boy, this space and this platform needs your support. So Coach Deborah, talk to us a little bit about the funding side of building your best life. Now, a lot of people don't know that you do have a budget. You do have an expected cost factor that is built into your various events, and that there is a lot of cost on the back end. You know, a lot of people see, and you, obviously, you have guests come in from all around the world, and they come in and they see you as a professional because you got the lights and you got the digital space and you got the website and the books and the different stuff, and they think that just showed up. Talk to us about money matters on the back end of your nonprofit organization.
Well, of course, you know, as Coach said, you just see this part of it. You don't see the other part, but hey, nothing in life is free. Right. So, you know, you have to, you know, it's not just a one thing you have to spend money on, but you have to have, being a nonprofit, it still costs. Yep. That costs, the website costs. You have to pay for the name of the website. You have to pay your state. Yep. You have to, books. I love to give out books to kids because they're not going to be able to afford those. So I want to be able to give books when I go to these places. You know, they cost. That publishing company, they're not going to give me a discount. They're going to sell them to me.
let me ask you, have the publishing company ever thought, hey, you're doing such a great job, let's send Coach Deborah cases of free books? No. Have the website company say, you know what, you're doing such a great job, you know, a free year. And we're on StreamYard. You use this platform so frequently. StreamYard, do they have a free section for nonprofits?
No. No.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't see that. But then, in addition, I just really want to plug this in before you continue. The amount of time you put in as a professional in your studies, in your researching, and in your networking and finding guests and dealing with the administration part, the cost there. A lot of people don't know, but it really does, like you mentioned, cost to run a nonprofit. Continue, please.
Yes. So, you know, just like you stated, you know, time, you know, because like, you know, my son will call, say, Mom, what are you doing? You know, it can be 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. Well, what I always do, build your best life. And, you know, it's not like I'm saying, build your best life, but I'm build your best life. Uh-huh. They have to call me out of this room. I have my office, like Coach said, with my lights and everything. But, you know, I want to do this and I want it to look professional because I want to draw the young men in. You know, I'm not going to even lie. I want to draw them in. I want them so much to get this message. Yeah. And I want to encourage their moms. So, you know, I try to go above and beyond. When I mail out things, I try to mail out, you know, to because it's nonprofit, you know, I can't pay my speakers and I have lots of speakers, but I might want to mail them something. The postage costs. When I send letters out, that costs, but everything costs. And, you know, Deborah's funding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yep.
it's not free. It's not ever free. So
Right. Let's talk about partnership. Financially partners. As a board member, ladies and gentlemen, I am a strong believer that just as much as someone is assigned to help you in educating you and coaching you and helping you lift the heavy load that may be on you in this season of your life, there are also people who are called to financially support what God's called you to do. And so somebody says, when God gives you vision, he provides to provision. When that provision comes through people. And so I'm loving this whole idea, Coach Deborah, that you have decided that, you know what, once a month, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the fact that this is what the platform is, and this is how you can fund it. Talk to us about a couple of different ways people can financially support your platform.
Well, of course, there are a couple ways. One-time gifts, appreciate it. But you can say, hey, I'm going to give monthly. That's a great way to give. I can fund you $25 monthly, $50 monthly. But that's just a great way to give. Sorry about that. But you can give via PayPal, CashApp, different ways to give. But you can give for each event, all the events that we have, even though I have costs all during the year, when those events come, that's a real push, for different expenses. So, some people want to give, hey, every time you give an event, I'm going to give you something. So there are many different ways that you can give. We love, your prayers, your thoughts, but, Stream God wants some cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're joined with Coach Deborah D. Smith, the founder of Build Your Best Life. And we're talking about the why this platform exists and how it came about. But in addition, we wanted to talk about how you can help build this platform by being a financial partner. Now, Coach Deborah just said it. We need, I'm a board member, I can say this, okay? We need about 100 of you guys. And I know you know somebody who's financially secure enough to say, you know what, I can do $25 a month. Do you know that $25 a month from 100 people will allow Coach Deborah, like she mentioned, she goes to a correctional center, and if there's 50 boys that she's speaking to, 25 boys she's speaking to, man, listen, those guys at a correctional center, they ain't got no money. Okay, but they need to have that book in their hand. And I like what you said about your book. In the back of it allows for them to take the time and fill out that information in regards to their life, helping them to structure who they are and where they're trying to go. In addition, you mentioned about your 4 events. Those events cost money because you put so much into making those events possible. Ladies and gentlemen, your $25 a month can help build your best life. In addition, with those events, as Coach Deborah says, you could mention to her through email, or you could say, hey, help me figure out how I can do a contribution to each of those events. Maybe you want to give $100 towards each of those events. Maybe you want to fund one of those events. I believe, Coach Deborah, and we're going to believe God, because all things are possible to them that believe. We're going to believe God that, listen, we're going to start, and I'm pushing you for this, Coach Deborah. We're going to do this together. We're going to go out there, and we're going to let those of you who are out there who believe in this platform to know, listen, somebody's out there who can actually pay the budget off. That somebody say, you know what, I'm going to just write a check. I'm going to write a check. I've been in nonprofit ministry for years. In addition to as a speaker and a trainer and a developer, I've seen how individuals, if you believe in a message, you will fund that message. You believe in a platform, you will support that platform. And so I want to encourage you to don't watch the platform and not support the platform. You can do things like share the video. You can I love YouTube for this whole share, copy, put it on Facebook on your page, or text it to a nephew, to a cousin, to an auntie, to an uncle, of somebody who's dealing with a young man who needs a message. This platform isn't going anywhere, but here's how you could do. You can Cash App, you can PayPal, you can go to the website, you can actually message Coach Deborah, even on Facebook or any of our other social media platforms, and say, I like what you are doing. I want to help fund the vision. Okay, so Coach Deborah, in closing, tell our viewing audience your closing thoughts on supporting this platform. We're going to do this again. We're not going anywhere because we have a budget to be met. Okay, we got some money we need. We need them coins. Okay, and we need them dollars. And you can Zelle, you can Cash App, you can PayPal. As a matter of fact, you can go traditional and mail a check. Make sure the check is good. Okay, we need to make sure that check clear because they charge you $35 for return check. We're nonprofit. We don't need no return check. But you could do it digitally or you can go traditionally. And if you're there in the Jacksonville area and you're watching me right now, you may see Coach Deborah throughout the city. You might say, hey, I got some cash on me. Coach Deborah, I was having lunch a couple of years back and I was sitting down and a young man walked in. He wasn't so much a young man, but he was a professional. And you're the guy who does this. And I said, yes, sir. He said, I want to support. I said, what do you mean? And he just went in his wallet, gave me $200. He said, well, now that's for what you do with the service you've been providing.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a blessing. Not only is it a blessing, it's an encouragement. Come on. It's an encouragement. Little is much when God is in it. Coach Deborah, tell our viewing audience your closing remark and request, challenge, ask for their support.
All right. Yes, please, please, please. I love doing this. I'm going to continue to do this. I'm consistent. You never tune in and you're like, where is she? Where is she? I'm always here consistently. But these young men are my passion. And I want to continue to do this until God tells me sit down somewhere. So I need your support. I want like that. Those guys in the detention center, last time I could only give out 10 books. I want to be able to give each one of them a book. I want to be able to keep the StreamYard, my Zoom, and all those technology things. I have to pay for my website and all of that. I want to be able to keep that because I want to give you a quality professional look as well as I give you information. Yep. I need your support. If I didn't, I wouldn't ask, but please, please, please pray for us. Bless us with your financial gifts, one-time gift, monthly gifts. We're here. I'm streaming the information across the screen. It's the Cash App and the PayPal as well. I'm giving you my email address. If you have any questions, you can email me, but I appreciate all of your support because I want to partner with you as me, our board, and all our guests come together to provide what our young men and our mothers with sons need. And, I always close with building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment because it is. It's my commitment. So please help me to be able to continue with my commitment.
So good. So good. Ladies and gentlemen, well, there you have it. She has requested. I've requested. Please prayerfully consider about becoming a monthly partner or deciding to fund one of the major events that Build Your Best Life hosts on a quarterly basis. I think there are like 4 of them a year. And then you may want to join Coach Deborah, find out from her. When she's doing that next mission trip cruise, you may want to join her so she can have her crew join her on the cruise. Listen, guys, we're going to be here and we're going to keep showing up until we gather the kind of support we need financially to fund this organization. I love being a part of this organization. I believe in every bit of what Coach Deborah is doing, and that's why I put all of who I am behind it. And so tonight, we challenge you to support Build Your Best Life. Coach Deborah, thank you again for all that you do. Let's continue to soar together in helping mothers with sons, helping young men around the world.
All right. Thank you. Love you, Coach. Thank you so much for everything.
God bless you.
Bye, everyone. Looking for that gift.